The Huawei Ultrathin keyboard. So this is my latest purchase. As the store representative when I bought this said, it's Apple but cheaper. Huawei is being pretty shameless. They're even using the same name as Apple's coloring, which is the space gray laptop, which you see here. So in today's video, I'm going to show you first impressions of how this pairs and how it looks aesthetically and how it feels. And I also wanted to show you classic Apple. They literally charge $80 more for space gray, unless I'm missing something. Are they just... I don't know. I don't know what Apple's doing. Classic Apple pricing. We don't need to dig too much into that. We all know Apple can overcharge for some devices. So my intent today is to do a quick test, quick unboxing of this device and see if it can save you some money and have a nice, aesthetically pleasing wireless keyboard. I mean, I probably shouldn't be laughing about this because it's funny to me how shameless Huawei is with how they copy Apple. The packaging is like going for the Apple Store look. It's like literally as close as they can get. And I am not a Apple hater whatsoever. Obviously, I got an Apple laptop right in front of me, and I've used a few Apple laptops. I edit this video on Final Cut Pro, which is an Apple product. I like Apple a lot. But my biggest pet peeve with Apple is how they overcharge for little accessories like this. I think they should give fair prices on things like keyboards to reward people who like their products and buy their bigger items. But as long as they are overcharging, people like me and people like you, the viewers at home, are going to search for other solutions. And I have to say, this feels cool. Okay, so this is, obviously there's a bit of plastic on the back. The front looks and feels more premium, but it's the front I'm going to be looking at virtually all the time. So, is this keyboard any good? Question mark. Okay, so first things first, how do I turn this on? Okay, let's see. So hopefully there's some charge on this. I don't know if I need to charge this before beginning. Oops. There's actually a little on-off switch right at the top, which I missed. Oh, and already, number one, which I was pressing earlier, is flashing. Boom. Just like that, we are paired. So it charges by USB-C, which is a nice touch. I'm going to start a timer, and we'll see how long it takes to get from 33% to 100. Hopefully not too long. Okay, so exactly 1 hour has passed. I'm going to unplug the charger, and we'll see how the keyboard is doing. 76%. I must admit that I'm slightly disappointed. I was expecting a device this small to fully charge within an hour. But if we do believe the marketing specs, which says that it only needs to be charged once per year, you know, we can keep the perspective that this isn't something you're going to need to do very often. There's a little sound of how it is when you're typing gibberish. The keys feel nice to me, I must say. The only things that I noticed so far that might have a cheaper appearance would be the back. And it's really not that bad, it's just it doesn't quite have the same build quality as the top. And there's the beautiful prose that I typed on the new keyboard. Let me compare that to the old one. That's how it sounds, that's how it feels. But my first impression, at least, is that this extra little push is very satisfying. Now, the actual distance, if I look here, The A's are almost perfectly lined up. And the L, yeah, I would say that that is almost exactly the same size. Perhaps it is exactly the same size. Well, in this case, we obviously don't have the touch bar. That will differ depending on your model. Spacebar, about the same. Yeah, I mean, most of the keys are very similar. And so there's not going to be a big learning curve or anything. The low profile, the key placement, the general aesthetic, I think matches quite well with this. And the actual color, clearly it's slightly darker on the external keyboard, but I think overall, I don't know, they both look very Apple to me. I think they pair very well together. Even the fact that, you know, just look at the similarities. If you're putting these in a carrying case, they're like exactly the same size, same rounded corners, same everything. As we mentioned earlier, Huawei being a bit shameless, taking on the Apple aesthetic. These items are going to work together pretty well. Here I am actually typing and seeing how it feels under my fingertips. My first impression is that it's a very solid device. Oh yeah, one last thing to say about Huawei is that this comes with a 1-year warranty, but I was warned, the shopkeeper who I bought this from was being very honest, and she told me that if you need to talk to Huawei customer service, it's difficult because you actually need to talk to China, and usually they only speak Chinese, and it's just like a whole mess. So with Apple, you just walk into the Apple store, right? So that's one thing to consider. Personally, I will be honest, I will update you guys if this breaks or I have any issues, but I mean, for like a sub $100 keyboard, this one was way under 100 because I got it on sale. I don't plan to be like talking to Chinese customer support or anything. I just hope that it will work, get a few years of life out of this. I did not see anyone complaining about manufacturing issues when I looked online, so fingers crossed it will not come to that and that this is built solid. So this is my current setup. Got my new Ultrathin keyboard. This, by the way, is the MX Master 2S. This is a pretty cool line of mouses as well. But for me, it's a very attractive keyboard. Feels good under the fingers. And it allowed me to avoid the Apple tax. So I am going to consider that a success. Hope you enjoyed this first impressions video. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will catch you next time.